Morning, good morning. We're here early. We're here early. I decided that I wanted to do a quick little live today and share a few emails that I've received from Matthew Gamet, who is head of the Idaho State Police Laboratory. I submitted a request, a FOIA, well over 90 days ago. I believe it was back in August. I had submitted a FOIA request for the LIZQ360 photos that were done with the LIZQ360 software. I submitted this FOIA, like I said, way back in the beginning of August, I think, is when I did it. It's taken well over the 90 days for someone from Idaho State Lab to get back to me. I was initially informed by Matthew Gamet at the lab that the Idaho State Police was in possession of 7,000 LIZQ 360 photos. In my correspondence with Matthew Gamet, he let me know that due to the temporary restraining order that was placed for, photos of the crime scene, etc., they were waiting on that, right? They were waiting on Judge Megan Marshall's decision to determine how they were going to move forward with these LIZQ 360 photos. Now, welcome in, everybody. If you're here, thank you for being here. I'm sorry, I'm on my phone. I can only see like 2 comments at a time. Oh my goodness, Meg P, beautiful Meg P, hello. How are you? Audrey, darling, hi. Glitch DNA Lab, so good to see you, honey. I actually just was listening to you when I was going to get my coffee. I was just listening to you with Custody Queens. Yeah, I think you did phenomenal, darling. I think you did phenomenal. I saw that asshole Viv was in the comments trying to besmirch your good name. And I asked her to point out precisely in your interview with the Custody Queens where anything that you said was wrong or inaccurate. And I haven't seen anything back from her yet. So typical Viv, still trolling comments, trying to besmirch good people's names, saying, oh, she's not a fucking expert. She just uses Chat GPT. I'm like, bitch, point out where she said anything. What did she say that was inaccurate or incorrect? Know what I mean? Instead of just trying to, fucking run her mouth about you. Audrey, darling, like, I love you to pieces, right? So when I see someone, because you're one of the nicest people here. So when I see people running around, running their mouths about you, it irks me. So anyways, I did specifically comment on Viv's comment for Custody Queens, asking her to explain precisely what Miss Audrey said that was wrong and or inaccurate. Because I listened to the whole thing and nothing you said was incorrect or inaccurate in any way. But I would love for her to fucking point it out. Know what I mean? She can't, but it's okay. So I got your back, Audrey, darling. Hope everybody's having a great morning. I wanted to make this quick, okay? Exactly, Audrey, darling. And you've made that abundantly clear, right? You're not an expert who works in any lab. You audit, you audit documents for a fucking living. This is what you do. DNA happens to be the shit you geek out on. And, you're smarter than her. That's the crazy thing. You didn't even have to go to school for this, Audrey, and you are actually smarter than her. And because she can't point out anything you said that's actually inaccurate or incorrect, she'd rather just try to besmirch you, which is just typical fucking tits on the ground. You know what I mean? Typical. That's right. Audrey is my DNA hero. Audrey is my DNA girl. I don't care what anybody says. I know Audrey knows more about this topic than fucking Viv. That's for sure. That's for damn sure. So anyways, I wanted to do this live real quick and just share a few of the emails that I've gotten now over the past 90 days from Matthew Gamet. He and I have gone back and forth since August about these 7,000 LIZQ360 photos. I am on my phone, so I'm sharing it with you guys, the image. Hopefully you can read it. I'm going to try my best here, but for me on my screen, it's really small, but that's why I'm going to share with you. So as you can see here, this is Matthew Gamet getting back to me, letting me know they received my request regarding the LIZQ360 photos. Now, that's all that I asked for. I know a lot of people are going in and they're doing FOIAs and they're saying like any and all this, any and all that. That's not the way to do it. I'm not saying that as a knock on anyone. I'm saying it because if you do FOIAs, you understand that they need to be very specific in what you're asking for. When you start asking for any and all X, that's where you're going to run into, well, we can do it, but it's going to take 150 hours and we're going to charge you $1,000. Do you get what I'm saying? So you're better off being very specific. So when I was requesting things from Idaho State Police, I intentionally asked for one thing at a time, not any and all. Okay. So when I asked for the LIZQ360 photos, the reason that I asked for it and the reason that I even knew they did it is because in one of my emails with Matthew Gamet, when he wrote back to me, he did inform me that the Idaho State Police Lab was in possession of 7,000 LIZQ360 photos. And this is when I was initially asking for IFP reports prior to them getting released. So when he was answering me back to let me know all of these Idaho State Police reports are going to be released, they're going to be uploaded to the website for the public to access, he also included, hey, by the way, IFP is also in possession of 7,000 LIZQ360 photos. So I made a separate FOIA request specifically for that. Here you'll see on the screen, if you can see it, he's saying it quotes my request, what I'm requesting for, that I was informed by Matthew Gamet at the Idaho State Police Lab that the IFP lab is in possession of 7,000 LIZQ360 photos. Now, when Matthew Gamet first wrote back to me on this, for this request, he was letting me know that there may be a cost estimate. They're also waiting to hear with Megan Marshall's temporary restraining order and whatever goes on with that, right? And that they'd be back in touch with me. And then it went for like a good 60 days and I didn't hear nothing. And then recently in the last couple of weeks, I've been getting some correspondence and some communication. Now we're to a point where the first set of emails, Mr. Gamet is telling me that after Megan Marshall made her decision, the Idaho State Police Lab has decided that these photos are going to be released free of charge to the public, uploaded to the Idaho State Police website, right? That was what I was last told, I don't know, a week and a half or so ago. And for anybody, if you can't see it, I have posted screenshots of these emails on my community tab if you want to be able to, you know, put them on a big screen or whatever and read them on your laptop. I'm on my phone, so I'm going to do my best to try to blow through these and give you the gist of what they say. But we're to a point now where I was told initially the 7,000 LIZQ360 photos were going to be released free of charge to the public. And then I get an email saying, hey, by the way, actually, we changed our mind. There is going to be a cost estimate for this file. Now it's gone from 7,000 photos to 5,000. Okay. I don't know where he's talking about duplicates. Some of them may be duplicates. I wrote back and I was literally like, I don't care. I'm very familiar with LIZQ360, how it works, what they do with it, how it's all stitched together. I get it, right? I don't care if they're duplicates. I want them all. And if you need to, give me a cost estimate for these items, right? Haven't heard back yet regarding the cost estimate. But the reason that I'm sharing this with you guys and the reason that I put it, you know, let the spin begin as the title of the live is because Idaho State Police and Idaho in general They really like fucking with their taxpayers. Okay. Fact of the matter is, the LIZQ360 software, what they would use to do LIZQ360 imaging, likely came from a federal grant. Federal taxpayer dollars were given to Idaho for them to acquire this type of technology and software to even be able to scan the crime scene. For those of you who don't know what LIZQ360 is, I have already shown on my channel what LIZQ360 is, what it does. It basically gives you a full, like 4D imaging of the entire crime scene. Blood spatter, bullets, shell casings, weapons, bodies, the whole home. You can walk through the crime scene like virtually using LIZQ. Okay. You can walk right up to a body, walk right up to a table, things like that. Okay. So LIZQ360 is amazing. It's amazing technology. It's amazing software. But the fact of the matter is here is that most departments, especially state police departments, in order for them to acquire that technology, they usually have to go through a federal grant to get it. Meaning your federal taxpayer dollars are being given to the state and their state police to acquire this software, this technology. Okay. First, they're telling me, yeah, Matthew Gammett's like, we believe the public interest outweighs. And you'll see that in the emails. I'm going to post all of these. Everything will be posted for everybody to read with their own two eyeballs and the words that Matthew Gammett has to say. Okay. Matthew Gammett believes that the public interest actually outweighs the privacy interests of the families, because Matthew Gammett understands it's the fucking taxpayers. Okay. We funded the software, our money. Every time the state gets a federal grant, any federal money, that means it's your money, our money. Okay. So that's why the public interest would outweigh any privacy interest, because our taxpayer money is being used to fund these investigations, to fund the technology and the software that they're using to, quote, solve the crime, right? So first, Matthew Gammett tells me we believe that the public interest outweighs privacy, blah, blah, blah. And we will release these photos free of charge to the public. Okay. Now we're to a point where I get an email back about, I don't know, a week and a half after the first one telling me it's all going to be free. Don't worry about it. Now he comes back with a, hey, actually, we're going to be charged for this. There's still going to be a cost estimate. It went from 7,000 LIZQ360 photos to now there's about 5,000 that are available. He isn't sure how any redactions can be done to abide by the court order from Megan Marshall, because the way that the software works, it's actually incredibly difficult to go in and redact anything once the software has done the imaging and stitched it all together. So it's pretty interesting that all of a sudden we're down about 2,000 photos, and now there's going to be a cost estimate for the available 5,000, right? Which I thought was pretty interesting. So let's see if it's going to let me get to the next one. Welcome in, everybody. Appreciate you being here. I can only see a couple comments at a time. Jilly Bean, hello. Mary P, hello. Curious Mind, hello. Hope everybody's having a great day. I won't be on here too long. If there's anybody else I'm missing, I'm sorry. Beach Babe, good to see you. Okay, so let's see. Jilly Bean, hello. So yeah. All right, let me see if it's going to let me share this next one with you. Yeah, exactly, Lizzie. They're basically extorting the public for money, in my opinion. If you're a taxpayer seeking any documentation on this case, you're entitled to it, even if you don't live in Idaho. especially where much of the technology, software, and programs that they use were literally funded by taxpayers. These programs, the software wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the taxpayer paying for it so they have it, right? I'm almost positive if someone did the background research on this, I haven't done it yet, we would find out that the LIZQ program, LIZQ software that was used by Idaho State Police was likely given to them via a federal grant. I'm almost positive of that. And if a federal grant was used for them to obtain this software, that's our taxpayer money paying for that federal grant for them to have access to this software. And they're trying to say, oh, nope, we got to charge you again for anything that comes from it. Same with IGG, right? It's the same bullshit with IGG. Othram takes federal money, right? Othram works with the feds. They're under a federal contract. So it's your taxpayer dollars, our taxpayer dollars, funding Othram. Good fucking luck if you think you're going to get anything from the FBI or Othram regarding what they did in this case, even though it was your taxpayer money used to do it. Othram and the feds used our money to do this. Okay? So it's super interesting to me when I get emails that are contradictory from heads of labs, especially when you are head of the Idaho State Police lab, and in one breath, you're claiming, oh, no, all of these images are going to be released free of charge to the public because public interest outweighs privacy concerns, right? And then a week and a half later, it's, oh, shit, actually, Annie, our bad. What we mean to tell you is that we're down to 5,000 photos. It's not going to be 7, and there is going to be a cost estimate for that. Right? It's pretty interesting when you think about it. So let me see if this is going to let me share the next one with you. Probably, I'm going to fuck this up, I'm sure, because I'm on my phone. But it's all right. Going to give it a try. So hopefully this has been up on the screen long enough that you've been able to read it. Let's go to the next one. Well, a curious mind, it's not even that I think Matthew Gammett's a liar. I think it's that Matthew Gammett was likely told, no. We can't release these without someone paying for them because we can't redact them. There isn't a way for them to get into the LIZQ now that it's all been done. The 3D scans have been done. The imagery has all been stitched together, right? You have these 7,000 images, and the way that these scans work is it's like a click by click, and then they stitch it all together with the imagery. So I think at some point he was told, no. We can't release these without someone paying for them because we can't redact them, right? My guess is they're going to come back with a cost estimate that is so outrageous that they know the average civilian probably can't pay it. And the only people who could pay it are going to be your big mainstream media corporations that don't care if they got to kick out 5,000 for a FOIA to get what they want. You know what I mean? In my opinion, that's likely what's going to happen. I'm going to get some outrageous cost estimate for the LIZQ360 imagery that they're going to assume can't be paid, right? They'd be sorely mistaken. They'd be sorely mistaken. They're going to have to come up with a really big number for it not to be able to be paid for. And that's all that we'll say about that. So hopefully they're not dumb enough to come back with like, well, it's going to cost $1,500. Not a problem, bitch. You know what I mean? This is how they think they're going to get people. They think that they're going to get you by giving you this outrageous cost estimate for something, when in actuality, there's ways around it. There's ways around it. I don't have to get all 5,000 at once, right? What's the cost estimate for the first 100? Then the next 100. than the next 100. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, what if maybe, just maybe, someone that I know is like, hey, you know what? Even if they tell you $2,000, I'll pay it. Get it. Maybe there's someone who's willing to fund my FOIA. Know what I mean? So hopefully they're not dumb enough to come back with some outrageous cost estimate. For the most part, it can be paid. Matthew, if you're listening, it can be paid. So don't be stupid, sir. Don't let them get you here. You know as well as I do, Mr. Gamut, that it was federal funds used, more than likely, in my opinion, to acquire the LIZQ technology. And if it was a federal grant given to the state police to acquire this technology, then the federal interest, our public interest, definitely outweighs anything, and we shouldn't be paying a dime, because you already used our money when you got your federal grant to use this software and to use this program, right? So if our money already paid for you to get the technology and the software, we shouldn't have to pay another fund to figure out what you did here with that software or to have access to it. The case is closed. These are public records. Idaho Public Records Act, right? You have to release this, whether you like it or not. And he knows it as well as I do, that if someone requests it, they have to release it. This isn't something that they can hold back on. It is what it is. But either way, I'm going to make sure I post all of these emails also on my community tab later when I get home. I am not home. I'm not even near home. So once I get home later and I'm actually settled in the house, sorry, I'm actually, I'm like an hour or so away from my house, and I'll be home later on this afternoon once I get all this taken care of here where I'm at. Then I can go home and I'll post all of these emails. Sorry, guys, if I seem all over the road and a little out of it. I kind of am. It's been rough the last couple weeks. Eccentric skeptic. Can they add filters to it? No, I don't think so. Don't think so. Because the way that the software works. If anybody's interested, you could go look up even on YouTube. Go through like one of the universities that has a YouTube channel, like a forensic channel. They have videos showing you how LIZQ360 works and how they use it at a crime scene, and then how they're able to use that software, to present as evidence to the jury. So for anybody who's interested, I know I've covered LIZQ360 in a live before. I just really don't remember which one it was. But yeah, LIZQ360 is amazing. It's amazing technology. It's amazing software. But the fact of the matter is the Idaho State Police likely had to get a federal grant to acquire it. Maybe they got a state grant to acquire it. I don't know. But if they use federal funds to acquire it, then we already paid for it. We already paid for it. That's our money that paid for it. Period. End of story. An Idaho resident shouldn't have to pay extra to get access to something that you already used their tax money for. They shouldn't have to pay extra to get access to that. You've already used their taxpayer money for it. So let me see if I can share this next email with you. A screenshot, I should say. I know there's a way to do it. It'll let me do it. Just let me figure it out. Here we go. That's that. Okay, so it's not that one. Maybe it's this one. Yeah. All right. That was the first one. I think this is the second one. I'll leave that up on the screen. I can't see that to save my life if I tried. If you tried to pay me money right now to read this to you, it's not going to happen because on my screen, it's very, very small. But for those of you who can see it, I'll leave it up for a minute so you have time to read through it. This was Matthew Gamut's response regarding the LIZQ360 photos. I believe this is the email where he's saying they intend to release all of the imagery for free to the public because the public interest outweighs privacy concerns, blah, blah, blah. Yes, there you go, Mary. Yeah. So that's Davie, Florida. Yeah. Gwen and Garnet. Yeah, I know they don't care, but it is what it is. We're still going to talk about it. I'm never going to stop talking about what the feds and what the state police did here and how taxpayer money was used to do it. And they're trying to hide it all, right? Eventually, someone's going to have to take a look at it, whether they like it or not, if they're not already looking at it. Even Special Agent Nicholas Balance. I don't know how Nicholas Balance isn't under internal affairs investigation from the feds already, but he should be if he's not already, right? In my opinion, these are just my opinions. Do not listen to me. I don't know shit. No facts here. I'm just some crazy lady on the internet who sometimes flies around on a broom and which cackles and points and laughs at people. Okay? Don't listen to anything I say. Read the documents yourself. Read everything yourself. Come to your own conclusions. But it's my personal opinion and conclusion that the FBI needs to be taking a special interest in Special Agent Nicholas Balance. You know, I don't understand how he was allowed to do what he did here in this case and get away with it. I mean, I do know how actually, it makes sense because Hitler just, it is what it is. Hitler wasn't going to allow a defense in any way, shape, or form. So, it's interesting. It's super interesting when you see how this actually all played out from jump. Hitler was never allowing the trial. No matter how much he pretended, everybody be ready for trial. We're going to trial. Hitler was never allowing a fucking trial, ever. But it is what it is. Back to LIZQ360 and Matthew Gamet. So Matthew Gamet has been communicating with me since August, letting me know initially the LIZQ360 photos would be released free of charge to the public. Then I get an email back from Mr. Gamet saying, hey, by the way, actually, we changed our mind. We're not going to be releasing those to the public. There is going to be a cost estimate. This is the next one. Yeah. All right. So I'll leave this one up on the screen for a minute. That way everybody can read through that one. This is when they finally got back to me. Obviously, I've redacted my information. But I'm just putting these up here for everybody to see for yourself with your own two eyes. That no. I do my own FOIAs. I just don't go and try to FOIA shit that I already know that if I try to do an any and all request, they're going to dick me around. This was one specific thing I asked for, and we're going well over 90 days since I put the initial request in. And he finally got back to me the other day saying, hey, let us know if you still want us to process your request, even though there's going to be a cost estimate now. And my response was, abso-fucking-lutely, I want you to process my request. And you go ahead and get back to me with that cost estimate ASAP. Because this FOIA is now going on to like 120 days old. Right? We're going well over the 90-day mark of this FOIA being submitted. And you want to try to tell me that now there's going to be a cost estimate, even though you already previously said it was going to be uploaded to the Idaho State Police's website free of charge to the public. That's what Matthew Gamet said, not me. That's what he told me in the email. So it's super interesting to me that he comes back a couple weeks later saying, hey, by the way, it's no longer 7,000 images. Now it's about 5,000. Oh, and by the way, there's a cost estimate for this item. Right? Fucking, it's absurd. It's absurd. My guess is spooks were like, no. You can't fucking release this. And because we have how are you going to release this with no redactions and still be in compliance? right? With the court order from Meghan Marshall. Know what I mean? How do you do that? If Meghan Marshall is saying, well, if crime scene photos are released, they have to be released with redactions, and you can't show the rooms, well, you can't do that with LIZQ360. That's specifically why I fucking requested it. That's why I didn't go and request regular crime scene photos taken with fucking Snyder's phone. I didn't request that. I requested LIZQ360 specifically because I know they can't redact using LIZQ. I know they can't go back in and redact. That's fucking precisely why I requested it. And they know that's precisely why I requested it. And they know they can't redact. So now they're like, well, fuck, we have to charge because they can't go in and redact. Okay. So I just wanted everyone to see. Get to the next one. Hopefully this one's been up long enough for you to read it, friends. And if my little box picture of me in the bottom there is in the way, it's fine. All of these will be posted to the community tab when I get home, and you can share them far and wide with your friends. Okay. Let's go to the next one here. And this next one should be where you will be able to see he is talking about now it's down to 5,000 images. There's going to be a cost estimate for the item, blah, 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 blah. I'll leave it on the screen long enough for everyone to be able to read it. And then later on, when I get home, I will post all of these screenshots for everyone. Feel free to read them at your leisure, go through them yourself. Maybe I can't be the only one that has put in a FOIA request specifically for LIZQ360. I can't be the only one. So if any of you out there have also done a FOIA to the Idaho State Police Lab for LIZQ360 photos, or you haven't yet, and you're just hearing this for the first time, put one in. Specifically ask for LIZQ360 only. Put your request to Matthew Gamet, Idaho State Police. Let Matthew Gamet know you want the 7,000 LIZQ360 photos. And then you can go ahead and share the screenshot of my email where he's saying, hey, this is going to be free to the public and we're going to upload it right to the Idaho State Police website. Because now they've changed their fucking mind. And they're saying, actually, we're not going to release this to the public. We're going to charge you. So it's super, super interesting that we've gone from these will all be released to the public for free to, hey, by the way, now we can't release them because we can't redact. Therefore, there's going to be a cost estimate for the item. And we're down about 2,000 photos. I was told by Matthew Gamet initially, the ISP is in possession of 7,000 LIZQ360 photos/images. Now he's turning on that, saying it's about 5,000, claiming the rest are duplicates. I said, I don't care if they're duplicates. I want all 7,000. I don't care if they're duplicates. Okay. So maybe I'll get a letter back from him today. I may get an email back from him today saying, hey, here's your cost estimate or whatever. But I just wanted to put this out there so that everybody themselves can see with their own two eyes. These are the emails that I've been getting. And I initially put this request in, I believe, in August of 2025, August of this year. So isn't that super interesting? I got to drink some fucking coffee. My head is pounding. I have the worst migraine. Sorry, guys. Life has been like super, super, super hectic these last couple weeks. I have a lot going on, and I haven't even been home for days. I'm like an hour away from my house, and I just can't wait to like go home and be in my own bed and be done with this bullshit. Yeah, Anna D, definitely. Those of you doing FOIAs, Christie's Chaos, darling, if you're listening, go ahead and put in a FOIA for LIZQ360. Everybody doing FOIAs, this is what you should be doing. Asking for LIZQ360 specifically, and you're going to request it from Idaho State Police because Moscow doesn't have it. Don't go through Moscow for shit. Moscow literally sucks donkey balls. Okay? Moscow sucks. Don't ask them for anything. They're just going to dick you around for weeks. They're going to charge you exorbitant amounts of money for stupid bullshit that they're going to redact or say they can't give you, or it's going to be missing pieces and, you know, all this shit. Even after they charged you a bunch of fucking money, you're still going to have shit missing that you need to call them back about and say, hey, where's this? Just like, unfortunately, Jules had to do. She just paid all of this money for the light bulb camera footage. And the most important time, midnight to fucking 2 a.m., is what's missing. Of course, that's what's missing in her fucking FOIA that she just paid hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars for. Of course, it would be the most pertinent time frame that's missing when all these motherfuckers get home, right? When everybody gets home, that just happens to be the time frame missing from her request. The most important time, midnight to 2 a.m. That's what's missing. New Orleans lady. Oh my goodness. Good morning, darling. Hello. Krista Marie, beautiful. Hi, honey. Welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for being here, Miss Q. Hello. Kane B, what up? Yeah, I won't be here long, guys. I got a banging migraine, like banging migraine. I went and got the coffee, and it's not even helping. Literally not. Yeah, that's what I mean, Gwennon. She got charged like $1,000. Jules did, and in my opinion, the most pertinent time period of all of it is the midnight to 2 a.m., and that is precisely what was left out of her request. And she had to call the girl back, get the girl on the phone, and the girl's like, oh yeah, sorry, it wasn't me handling it. I'm kind of like third party, and the other person's out of town, they're on vacation. But when they get back next week, we'll make sure you get it. It's like, what the fuck, bitch? This is you could have sent me, all I wanted was this, right? Like, to me, that's why they did it. That's why you didn't get the 12 to 2 off the rip. They're going to make you run around for that shit because it's the most pertinent piece. It's the most pertinent piece of the audio, in my humble opinion. In my humble opinion. Amethyst, hello, honey. How you doing? Beach babe, try dark chocolate for your migraine. Trust me, darling. I eat fucking dark chocolate like it's my job. The migraine is from stress, I promise, guys. It's actually like a banging stress. Okay, headache. It is what it is. It's just big time stress. But I will say, okay, so did I leave this one up long enough for everyone? I think there's one more. There may be one more after this. Well, that's what I mean, Gwen, and I'm not knocking Jules. I actually feel bad, you know what I mean? Because her and her supporters raised all of this money. They, you know, collected all of this money to get this FOIA specifically from MPD for the camera footage. And in my opinion, the most pertinent time period, the midnight to 2, when everybody's arriving home. Notice that happens to be the one piece of time frame they left out for her, right? In that request, right? It's the time that everybody is literally arriving home, when the girl should be getting dropped off by Grower, whatever the fuck his name is. Okay. So she pays $1,000 to get the 12 hours of footage from the light bulb cam, and MPD just happens to oopsie poopsie fuck up. And oh, our bad, the midnight to 2 a.m. is missing. Get the fuck out of here. It wasn't a fuck up. Wasn't a fuck up. It's intentionally left out, in my opinion. It's intentionally left out to make you fucking run more to get that one piece. Now she's got to wait for the bitch to get back from vacation to figure out where it was fucked up. Oh, our bad. Now we can send it to you. She's going to have to wait another week to even get the midnight to 2, which is bullshit. She already paid the $1,000. It should have been included the first time. How are you fucking up this bad when you're being paid this amount of money to get it right and you've got 3 people fucking doing it? How are you even fucking up that bad that you just happen to be missing the most crucial time frame? Stop. Just stop, MPD. We all know how corrupt and full of shit you are. It's fucking old. It's so old. We don't believe you. You're fucking liars. You left it out on purpose. It's the most pertinent time frame, midnight to 2. That's when Dylan and Bethany should be arriving home, allegedly. That's when the girls should be getting dropped off by Gower. That's right around the time, allegedly, Ethan and Vanna should be somewhere in the vicinity of the fucking house coming from the White, right? Midnight to 2 a.m. And it just happens to be that is the crucial piece of time MPD left out of this FOIA for Jules. And it's bullshit. It's bullshit. So let's see the next one. Do I have one more? I feel like there was one more here. Let me look. Was it that one? Let me see what this is. Oh, nope, that's just me again. Okay, maybe that was it. I feel like there's one more here somewhere, but because my eyes are blind and I have a migraine and this is small on my screen, don't worry, friends. I promise I'm going to post all of these screenshots for you in the community tab on my page, and then you can go share it or whatever you want to do with it. Tiger up. Hello, Sarah the Irish, darling. Hello. How are you? I gave you big shout outs yesterday or whatever day it was I was on here. Was that yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Sudie, hello. So yeah, you know, I feel bad for Jules. I really do. She paid all that money and they fucked her on the most important time frame. And now we've got Idaho State Police Lab Head Matthew Gamet going back on the, oh, we're going to release these 7,000 images for free to the public. And no, actually, our bad, Annie. My bad. I got to roll that back, Annie. It's only 5,000 images. And by the way, we're going to charge you, right? Fucking assholes. Idaho State Police, Moscow Police Department. We are so unbelievably fucking sick of you. It's not even funny. I'm to the point where I'm ready to file like class action fucking lawsuit. And the only reason that I won't do it is because all that does is burden the poor taxpayers of Idaho even more. That's all it does. You know what I mean? Unfortunately. And I'm not trying to burden the taxpayers of Idaho even more than they've already fucking been. Okay? They've been raped, robbed, and fucking pillaged by the people who run their state. The Attorney General's office, fucking Hurwitz, Jeff Nye, your state prosecutor, Thompson and Jennings. They're literally just fucking robbing their taxpayers blind on this shit. And it's wild. It's wild it's even allowed. You know what I mean? Honestly, I would consider like class action lawsuit. Everybody get together, put their names on the lawsuit. You know, you got 30 fucking people demanding the information, including mainstream media outlets and people like that, right? But the problem is when you file a class action lawsuit against the state, you're burdening their taxpayers. And there are, you know, plenty of people in Idaho that are taxpayers that are innocent fucking civilians who feel just the same way as we do. And they side-eye everything going on. You know, not everybody in Idaho is a corrupt piece of shit. Not everybody in Idaho is a bad fucking person. You know what I mean? There's a lot of amazing people who live in Idaho. A lot of amazing patriots, by the way. Actual patriots who love their country, who serve their country. Okay? And they're just as fucking fed up. They're just as fucking fed up. I promise you that. You know, happen to know a couple of them personally. They serve their country. They love their country. And they're also side-eyeing everything that fucking happened here, including what the state was doing, along with the Attorney General's office, along with the FBI. And all of the things that the collusion. It's the collusion. It would appear to be all fronts are conspiring to collude. Or however you want to pronounce it, right? In my opinion, we have an actual like conspiracy here between state prosecutor, lab, feds. That's just my opinion on how they were going to run this investigation, what they were going to hide, what they were going to keep secret, and how you can't use anything the feds did. You're going to have to make it look like you did it on your own. You can't use anything we did because everything we did, we aren't supposed to be fucking doing it. And that's just my opinion. Big booty Judy. Only about 99% of Idaho is bad. No, there's really just so many people in Idaho, many of them that are actually just, when I tell you, like, they're just amazing people. They love their country. They love their state. They serve their country, you know. Many who are police out there served in the armed forces in some way prior to them becoming law enforcement. That's why pain pisses me off so much. That's why pain makes me so fucking angry to know military veteran served in a fucking Ranger battalion, took an oath to the Constitution, and he's just straight up on the fucking stand lying under oath. Lying under oath. And he knows he's lying. And he was going to double down on that lie at trial, triple down on that lie at trial. The state was going to re-deputize him to bring him in to triple down on that lie. And this motherfucker served in our military. So to me, he gives those who honor their oath, those who actually honor their oath, he makes them look real bad. He is the kind of person that makes law enforcement, that makes our military look like they're just bad, corrupt people who will just follow orders, blah, blah, blah. Do you get what I'm saying? No matter what. And, you know, it pisses me off because I happen to know many, many people who have served or are serving. And they're nothing like a Brett Payne. They are the opposite of a Brett Payne. They're not going to get up and lie under oath and just make shit up. They're just not. You know, and it just sucks. Like I said, even if someone was to do some kind of civil lawsuit, class action lawsuit, the only thing you're doing at that point is burdening the innocent taxpayer who has nothing to do with this, who did nothing wrong. But on the other hand, when you have Moscow Police, Idaho State Police, and other agencies doing everything that they can possibly do to bury the information and keep it hidden from the public, what do you do at that point, right? How do you handle it at that point? What is the way to handle that? Kane B, what do you mean? You fell? What? I can't see my, hang on, let me go through this. What do you mean you fell, Kane? Landed on your back? Kane, not good. Hang on. Trying to see my comments here. What happened, Kane? I can't see what came. What happened? I'll just drop the link. Hang on. At least I'm not giving Video Ninja link, Kane. Okay, the link I give you is going to be here. It's not going to be to that bullshit Video Ninja. This link is only for Kane. Okay? Don't anybody else click it. Any of you fucking trolls, if you try clicking the link, I'm just going to boot you, just so you know. This is only for Kane. Did that work? Dear God. Did that work? It did. There you go. Okay, that link is for Kane and Kane only. If anybody else clicks it, I'm just going to boot you and you won't be allowed in. Unless you're Twiz. Kane and Twiz. Those would be the only two people I'm willing to talk to right now. Yeah, phenomenon. Hello. How old is Bill Thompson? I want him in jail before God gets him for punishment. Yeah, no shit. I mean, I'm hoping he's already under some kind of internal affairs investigation. Like I'm hoping that since, you know, they've all been under investigation for a while. That's my hope. My hope is that there's some kind of investigation going on, but I doubt it. I doubt it. It would appear they're all just going to be allowed to fucking do whatever they want. But thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to feel better, Kane. Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope you feel better. All I saw was you fell, but I don't know where you fell from, so I hope you feel better, homie. All right, so I didn't want to make this too long. I appreciate everybody for hanging out with me today. I got to get going. I should be back home like later today at some point. And then I'll make sure when I get home, I do post the screenshots so that you guys can read them yourself and share them or whatever you want to do with them, okay? But I hope everybody has an awesome day. Take care of yourself. If you guys see me again, it's going to be short and sweet, probably. Just so you know, I do get a big snowstorm coming my way as well. So I'm trying to also get home and just be back to my own home and my own bed and everything before this next snowstorm rolls in. Because of where we were when the first snowstorm rolled in, just is what it is. I was better off staying where I was at than trying to drive home in it. So I just can't wait to go home and just be in my own bed. But I hope you guys all have an awesome day and take care. Thanks for hanging out with me, Kane. Hope you feel better. Yeah, and I'll make sure I post all of these screenshots for you guys when I get home. Love y'all. Take care. Have a great day. Bye.